Hello and welcome to Getter Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV, Upper Mississippi River Valley, and today we've got a lot of fun planned. We've been going to town on our final field of soybean harvest here, which I think we're going to actually be able to wrap up this episode, and that means we've got a bunch of soybean stalks coming off of the field, and we've gone ahead and baled those all up. I'm going to figure out where the best place is going to be to sell this. The price is a little low right now. Let's look and see what our other prices might be. Oop, we're getting away from ourselves. I've got points set up to go to Rudy's Food Store, but it does look like this Pedersen Grain and Export is going to be our best bet here. So I'm going to go ahead and tag that because I'm not sure if I've ever been there before. And just look here. That looks like it's right next to that grain mill sell point. So I'm going to go ahead and take my chances, and we're going to send this down to the grain mill sell point and see how it does. I know I was selling grain out of this field to my left going down this back road, so that should work out for us. And then if we jump back over here to where we're harvesting these soybeans, we've got everything full up today. The truck here is full, the grain cart's full, and I'm pretty sure that combine's about to be full too. So I'm going to go ahead and run the truck up to the silo here, get it all dumped out, and then we'll be right back out here. We'll be able to get that grain cart emptied out and hopefully keep that combine moving. As soon as we get everything emptied out here, we're going to jump on over into this grass field and do a little bit of landscaping. All right, we're getting this all dumped into the bin site here. We're doing pretty good on our soybean yield so far. We've only gotten just that first field out. We've got 70,000 liters here, and that should sell quite well when the time comes. I'm curious to see just how many more semis we're going to get off of this big bean field. I'm expecting, well, I know I've already got one more full semi out there. I'm expecting probably two more. That's my guess, at least. I'm constantly looking at this field next to us on the right hand side, trying to figure out how I want to lay things out. I think this area that's right to our right there on the peninsula, that's going to be where our new silage bagging area. I think that would be a great place to just have those silage bags kind of extend towards the water there, and then up on the side of the hill there is where I'm envisioning our biogas plant going. We're going to have to figure out how to level that out just a little bit before we can place that. I know building on the side of a hill is not always the best idea. And I think we're going to go ahead and just get this guy turned all the way around here and pointed back out towards our driveway. The grain cart's pretty maneuverable and can get in here and do what it needs to do. But I'm going to move this thing out just a bit to give us some room. I'm not looking forward to this job necessarily. I guess with GPS it won't be too bad, the manual mowing experience. But before we can get into that, we've got to run out here and grab this grain cart and get that moving. The faster we get done with harvest, the faster I can switch this tractor over to our plow and get that up and running, because this is the tractor I typically use for that. I'm going to have to start off our baling tractor once again on the horseplay course that it's on. I haven't bothered since we got back into the game for this session, and definitely seeing the combine full there as well, so we've got to get moving here. There's just barely enough room to turn around here. We're gonna squish a couple rows of beans. That's unfortunate, but it couldn't be helped. And here we go. Let's see if I pulled too far forward or if I'm gonna be able to swing in here and get the beans into this front hopper. I didn't quite swing wide enough. This is going to be a struggle. Oh, we can just eke them in here. A good deal. Well, while that unloads, let's see if I can figure out where we need to unload this soybean straw at the Pedersen Grain Export. This is a little bit tight of a turn. Hopefully we don't clip the edge of the building there. Just pop off the curb. That's not a big deal. I'm gonna guess it's down here. I mean, it doesn't look like a bale drop point, but hopefully it'll work. I'm gonna spin all the way around just because I'm kind of out of position here, and we'll see if we can make this happen. And of course I'm gonna have to figure out how to get these off of my trailer again. I'm in transporting position, so if I double Y it should drop them, but it's not actually selling them off right now as far as I can tell. I'm gonna pull forward here a little bit, and then we're gonna hop out, and I'm gonna take one off the back, and we're gonna see what happens if I actually drop it down here on the grate. Nothing. So I would probably have to do this with a loose straw and dump it in if I really wanted to make this work, which obviously I'm not super interested in doing. So I'm gonna pull forward. We're gonna try and reload this thing, something like that. Oh, I got 2 bales that got lifted up on top. Let's see if we can knock them off here. Eventually that bale will bounce off and get sucked up, right? There we go. All right, well, with that little adventure out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and I think just sell this load over at the bale point that we know about, because I'm not gonna mess around with it too much. I'm surely not going to bring them down here in the feed mixer or some other trailer like that. I think it'd just take way too long to grind up all of these bales into something loose and haul them up. That feed mixer we got could do it, and I'm pretty sure I could probably store the loose straw in the harvest store and then load it back out into maybe one of the silage trucks, but I think it just takes so long to actually make that happen. So what we're gonna do instead is just drop all these off here and let them sell, see how it goes. We're gonna make a little bit of money here, which is great, and then we will have plenty of cash now, I think, to get started on our project, which is the biogas plant. I've been looking forward to this for several episodes now. Let me go ahead and just send this guy back up to the farmyard so that we don't have to monkey with it too much. Oh, he's stopping. Let me pull him forward here. Hopefully he'll get on the appropriate course. And then we got to get this guy going. Nearest waypoint. Perfect. And we're all ready to run up here and empty the combine finally. I always say it's the most important job to keep that guy moving, and then I have this nasty tendency to just kind of forget about him and go off and do all the other jobs on the farm. So we're going to jump on here and see if we can get him moving. I am a little bit nervous about time. I was going to move the clock forward, but I'm being very conscious about not wasting a whole bunch of manure here. We're down to having 2 of the 3 barns, I believe, are just about full or will be full within the hour of manure. So now we're up against the clock, and I don't want to waste too much product because we're about to spend a huge amount of money to invest in that. I mean, I could pay down a really good chunk of my debt with this $400,000. I could probably buy off half of the equipment we've got on the farm with this much money, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to do something a little bit different. So we're gonna stick to our guns and see if we can get this thing purchased soon. These bales do cause a little bit of a problem though when we get so caught up with the combine that we have the baler in the next row behind the combine here. So I'm having to push them out of the way a little bit. I don't think if I were to straddle one that it would go underneath the tractor. I think the tractor's a little bit too low, so we'll have to continue to monkey with them. I wonder if I go around it on the outside, if the combine would put its auger away or leave it out. Let me give that a shot real quick. Oh, he's starting to put it away. Unfortunate. Well, that is definitely not the play then. We'll have to try and stay on the inside of the bale. And there we go. We're all emptied out. I'm going to back up a few feet here to give the combine plenty of room to move. I don't know why the combine's backing up. It's actually quite disturbing. Okay, you know what? combine's being silly. I'm gonna go around. Maybe it detected that bale and thinks it's in the way. I don't know what it's doing. Either way, we're gonna just swing this grain cart around. I'm gonna park it over here on the grass shoulder, pointing back towards the field. That way we can get in and zip over there to unload that combine again when we need to. We've already got yet another load of beans that needs to be run up to the farm, so we're gonna try and stay on top of this. And I think as soon as I get this load dumping into the bin system, we'll finally be ready to take a look at these biogas plant placeables and figure out which one we're going to use. Looks like the pickup made it back and got stuck on the fence. My goodness. I'm just having a day here with all of our drivers, it would seem. Oh, and I've probably got room for that chaff in the harvest store now, too. So many jobs to do. So many jobs. Well, while that first hopper is unloading, oops, we're going to go ahead and see if we can fix the pickup getting hung up and maybe even unload the chaff here just to keep everything kind of moving forward, getting the yard cleaned up. We're running into a lot of these issues just because we've got so much stuff all over the place in the yard. We've had our drivers getting hung up on things that are parked around. One of the first purchases that we're going to make of leased equipment once we get done with this biogas project is to buy this leased trailer here so that I can take some of these axles off of it. But in the meantime, we're kind of stuck with it, so I'm going to go ahead and get that unloading. And then we'll jump back into this truck. We'll get the back hopper to unload. There we go. And with all of that kind of out of the way, let's take a look at the landscaping tools. It's been a minute since I've used these, so I am going to turn on our leveling controls, or our F1 help menu. But before we do that, I suppose I should actually look and see what options we've got. So in the base game, we've got the smallest one, which, oh my goodness, that's huge. I mean, we've got the room, but that's pretty big, and that's why we went and downloaded some other ones. So I do have the one from the pumps and hoses pack, where I could put in this fermenter, and I believe I can dump straight into this for the liquid slurry. So I could do this. This would be 261, but I'm not sure. I think I might need some kind of storage to pull back out of it. This is a separator. Separator separates a solid fraction of liquid manure that can be sold or used as bedding or fertilizer. So yeah, there's just all kinds of different things here that I would probably need. I think these are the deals that actually turn stuff into energy to sell it. Yep. So we could use the pumps and hoses stuff. That's one option. Or I've got this little biogas plant, which is set up to be more compact. And I kind of like the idea of this one because it's all here in one kind of building layout here. And it's self-contained, so we might start with this just to see how easy it is. If we like this, we may explore it more in a future video and do a lot more stuff with it. So I think what I want to do is actually place this down somewhere here. Now, I've got the driveway there. If I don't go too crazy, I guess we could still use some of this as a grass field. I've been tempted to put a driveway in over there. I said I wanted to put my ag bags down over here, and I can see kind of how long an ag bag is. If I had the ends come all the way down here, I could put this thing almost straight in front of this driveway. That might be the call. Although I've got to get in next to the ag bagger to dump and all of that good stuff. Maybe what we'll do is we'll kind of set it back here a little bit. So what I need to do is level some terrain. I want to change to a square brush for this, and I'm going to make it a bit bigger. And I wish it was going to let me, oh, there we go. I can tilt my camera a little bit to see what our terrain looks like. And I think I'm going to go ahead and... Whoa, that's just chewing through my money. I'm trying to flatten all this out, and then I'll smooth it afterwards. It's pretty good. All right, let's see what that does for this placeable. That's not too bad. I don't think anything's like super floating up in the air. Maybe on the backside a little bit. I'm gonna toggle snapping just to make sure we're kind of facing the right way. I kind of like this. I think I'm gonna go with this. And back actually looks pretty good. It looks like it leveled everything out pretty good. So what I need to do now is actually finish with leveling this. So what is this? This is the raise lower. This is the soften. I don't want to go too much because then it's going to undo my field area. No, it's not. Okay, let me make this a little wider. We're wasting tons of money trying to even this out a little bit here, but it's such a big hill right now that if we don't smooth it out some, it's going to look absolutely ridiculous. And over here, I'm actually kind of okay with how it looks. I just want to take off the really hard edge a little bit. All right, let's see it. Let's see how bad this looks. Obviously, we've got some missing grass and stuff. This corner here is a little extreme. That's the only part I'm not a big fan of. And then over here, I'm going to paint some road. This is kind of a big bump, but I can live with it, I think. Just like right over there is a little bit of a weird low spot, but everything else looks pretty good. I think I can live with that, especially once we get the grass back in there. So let me see if I can paint some driveways now. I don't know if I've got all the right ground paints though, unfortunately. Is it this one? It is. All right, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this ground paint, and I'm going to bring this right on over here. And I think I'm just going to cover this whole front area in this, or kind of grassy gravel, if you will. So we're going to need some room to turn. We're going to have to see how getting in here is actually going to work. I still don't know if I'm going to need to buy another trailer and all kinds of stuff. We are going to just widen this out though. And then I'm going to need to plant a little bit of this grass. So what I'm going to do is, once again, I think I'm going to give it like a kind of a V look here. I don't know how this is going to work actually. I think I'm going to get rid of the track and just have this kind of extend out a little bit. That doesn't look too bad. And then we're going to just bring our grass back in here. I may come out here with some tillage equipment and clean this up again, make it field again. But for now, I just kind of want to make the area look nice. I think if I cover this in grass, I won't notice how steep it is since we weren't able to smooth that out. And maybe I'll try and smooth that out again here in just a second. But in the meantime, we'll do this. Actually, I should get rid of all of this as field. I don't want any of this to be field, right? So if I plant grass over it, does it stop being field? Or do I need to paint it first? I think I need to paint it first. So let's paint it and see what happens. I paint, yeah, this is the right paint, I think. I don't want any of this to be field anymore. Perfect. That's looking really good now. Yeah, I don't mind that at all when it's covered up in grass like that. Alrighty, and then let's just look at the map real quick out of curiosity. Yeah, the main part of that's no longer a field. Let's look at the precision farming map. Yeah, precision farming still thinks it's a field. That's all right. We'll sort through it eventually. Now, for the moment of truth, though, everything's all stopped up here. We don't care. Let's get this guy to drive over there and see if I can overload out of this trailer and into the slurry drop point there. Oh yeah, we're gonna need quite a bit more of a driveway here, most likely. That's all right. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put another one in down there and we'll have kind of a U. Now, there's this pipe right out in front of the biogas plant. I don't think I can unload into it. I mean, I'm a little bit far away from it, but I think that's where I'm going to load digestate after the fact. I think I'm going to need to actually back this thing down the ramp. That's going to be the inconvenient part of this. And or this thing doesn't accept unloading in from this trailer. That would be the other downer bummer, but we'll find out in about a second here whether or not this is gonna work. Yeah, I'm not seeing any option to overload or unload out of this tanker, unfortunately. The main reason that we wanted to try and unload out of this is that it's much bigger than the other slurry tanks, like the semi-based slurry tanks that we've got access to, at least right now. I was kind of hoping that this would let me dump out of it. I am gonna back up here and we're gonna pull up right alongside this little pump thing here. And then if this doesn't work, I gotta try one last spot, which is on the other side. Yeah, I'm not getting any kind of an unload. There's one last spot over on this side where I see a pump symbol that I didn't see when we were placing it, which makes me really nervous, because if this is where I'm going to pick up digestate, that's going to be a problem. Or if this is where I need to dump my slurry, that's going to be a problem. There's just lots of problems here. I did not get any kind of a dump window there or pop-up. I am gonna try and back into this a little bit better. See if we can get nice and close to it. Yeah, we're not getting anything here. Now, if that is where I'm gonna have to pick up digestate after the fact, let me just turn this on. Yeah, there's definitely a trigger there. That means that we're gonna need to really figure things out at some point here. This the box on the front end of this is so low too. I'm not even sure we'd trigger that with a semi either. But there's only one way we're gonna find out about this. We're gonna have to go in here to slurry tanks and grab a trailer. I'm gonna get the semi trailer, probably that one. I'm just double checking to make sure I don't have anything else installed. I don't see anything else that looks reasonable. So we're gonna grab this. This is the semi trailer. I'm gonna lease this, $5 grand. The prices are adding up here. I'm gonna get this truck out of the way now, just because I might want to come through there with this other semi trailer. And that semi trailer is not as big as I thought it would be. I guess it is a EU-based mod, so not a huge surprise there. Maybe we'll actually just use this truck for now. It's got a bit of a long wheelbase for backing in and out of that tight spot, but the other truck is running the grain trailer at the moment. This trailer is adorably small on this truck. That's alright. It means we can get around the yard quite easily. Now, I have to imagine this trailer was designed to go along with that, or not that the trailer was designed, but that the BGA was designed to accept this trailer, just because this is the only base game manure trailer, at least the only big one that I know of. I guess there's some smaller manure setups that aren't semi-trailers. There we go, almost 8,000 gallons. It's still pulling hard up these steep hills. Having to actually downshift to get it going here. And I have to say, I'm going to be really disappointed if this trailer doesn't work over here. So let's hope for the best. I guess I should have tried just pulling right up to it. Now, that overloading slurry, is that into the trailer or into the whatchamajigger? Let me move this other trailer out of the way just to make sure I'm not getting myself confused. Because this semi-truck or the semi-trailer is designed to load into a nearby slurry tank. And I want to make sure that's not what we're seeing when we're trying to move around here. There we go. Okay, now let me straighten myself out a little bit here. And back we go. Nope, it's actually into the right thing. So I don't need to be doing nearly this much goofiness. So I'm gonna just back in here for the fun of it. This is gonna make unloading so much easier though in the future. And I'll run over here. I think right in front of the door is where I can manage the production point. Perfect. And this is going to take slurry and create power and digestate, I believe. I'm just going to click through these and see what different things I can do. Yeah, I think we want the slurry one. So let's activate that. It doesn't hold that much, but I'm guessing it's going to push through this pretty quickly, it looks like. I'm already seeing the gallons go down. How many gallons per tick? 1 gallon per minute, it looks like. We can handle that. Now, the better question is, though, can I automate this at some point? I'm going to need to figure out how to do a nice auto drive course that kind of drives through that zone to unload. That'll be the trick to all of this, so that we can just set it up and let it go. But I think just to get started, we're going to run a couple loads out of here so that we can get ourselves into some brighter daylight. This is the barn to my right. That was the barn we just emptied some out of. So if I take a load out of this barn, we will then be able to move our time forward finally. So let's do that real quick. This would be a hard barn to automate, I feel like. I wonder if that thing is compatible with pumps and hoses. It'd be kind of funny to just run a hose across the road to pump it over there. Oh well, something to play with in the future. I did not want to deal with that level of headache today. I just kind of wanted to jump in here and get something working, get our manure problem solved, and then we can go from there. Now I'm really curious though to see, so at 8 o'clock I would assume that we'll get a paycheck from our energy outputs. While that's unloading, I want to see if I can make another driveway out of here. Use the leveling tool maybe. We have one that's sort of up here, but there's a road sign in front of it, which we would always be running down. I wonder if I could do one right here across this ditch. I wonder how that would work. Or maybe I can just start with the smooth tool, because the smooth tool didn't destroy the terrain that's there. What happens if I do this? It's technically lowering the road some, which I'm okay with, I think. It's so hard to tell what you're doing. I forget how I'm supposed to get rid of the plants here. Thought like right click was the eraser tool. Doesn't seem to be working. I'm going to use the level tool and just come straight across here though. If I smooth this out, I should be able to drive down this okay. Something like that ought to work. I really wish I could remember the trick to fixing these bushes. I know in the past everybody has been kind enough to explain that to me in the comments. I thought it was just getting the paint tool out and like right clicking it gets rid of the grass, but it's not getting rid of these big bushes. Maybe these bushes are permanently stuck in here for some reason. Either way, I'm gonna just call that a day for now. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you remember how to get rid of these tall bushes, because that would be awesome. In the meantime though, let's see how good of a job we did leveling this out. Not a very good one. That's a steep hill right there. We're gonna need to further smooth that out. All right, let's give this another spin here real quick. We've done a lot of leveling and I think this is gonna work out. We might widen that driveway just a smidge, but I should be able to drive in somewhere in there and then we can just drive on out. This is a lot more doable, a lot leveler, and we can make the turn without hitting the fence. I like it. All right, well, that's gonna do it. I'm excited. Let me get this semi filling back up one more time, and we'll jump back out and get the soybean harvest back on track. Enough goofing around. All right, we're getting the combine emptied out here, and these bales are starting to become a problem. So I think as soon as I get the combine empty, we're gonna hop on out here. I'm gonna stop the stupid baler from running. We're just too close to the active part of the field, and the baler is a lot faster than the combine, so I'm not too worried about it catching up here after a bit. I can just restart him when we're a little bit closer, and that'll do what we need it to do. And of course our combine is sitting here stuck, most likely because there's bales all over the place in its way. Pretty sure I just got decapitated by a soybean header there. I might come out here with the bale trailer real quick and try and get some of these bales off the headlands once we get everything else kind of under control here. I think that's going to be our best bet to keeping things moving. So let me run this down to the other end of the field just as a means of getting down there, and we'll go find that bale trailer. I got the bale trailer here. We just have a few on each headland. I think we'll take the path all the way around the outside here though, because most likely we'll end up running down this side of the field for something before sooner or later. I don't know. But there's a handful of bales down the side. I'll have plenty of capacity to get all of these, plus the ones on the headland on the far side here, at least for the part of the field that we've still got beans on. And that should get us back up and running with a lot less hassle. And that's what we're all about here, is reducing our frustrations and hassles on the farm. We want things to be easy peasy. There we go. Now, of course, I've got a ton of bales out here, so I can go ahead and just pick up as many of these as I want. However, now that we've got the BGA down, I'm not in a huge hurry to sell these off. We might actually hold off and see if we can get a better price. I know the price goes up significantly if we wait a little bit until we get into a different time of the year. I want to say January is the high point for these particular bales. So we might just hang on to these until then. Maybe the sell point will be one of the more convenient ones that's the high point at that time in the year. Who knows? But like I said, we're just not in a hurry to get rid of these right now. So I'm just going to pick up as many as we need to fill it up, and we'll figure out how to start running them over into that bale barn here sooner or later. Although we did talk about maybe putting a bale barn up on the field across the road there moving forward. So I might look into that before we start stacking these all up. But this is, whoa, why did those all go off the side? It really unbalanced my truck. Let me see here. I guess as soon as they finished loading up, that just went into unloading mode on its own. That was really bizarre. All right, I'm going to leave that there. But we're going to leave this out in the field, I think, for the time being at least. We don't have a immediate need for it. I'm going to shut this off. We're running out of fuel anyway. And we better get this truck back out to the field. I'm really curious to see how much money we're making on this electric plant. I didn't pay that close of attention when the hour ticked over before, though. So let me bump our time up a smidge while we're driving here. Get on the road going straight so I can watch the clock while we're doing this. And we're at 11,712. And then we're at less than that. Okay, well, we're clearly losing money on something at the same time. Probably our water fees on the farm over there. Let me just look here. We're doing good. We're just ahead of the slurry, so I'm going to actually need to kind of keep time low for a little bit until we can get caught up on hauling some of the slurry over to this new production point. I think that's going to be the order of the day here as we're wrapping up some of our other jobs. And of course, I drove this thing all the way down to this end of the field thinking that I would follow the combine on its way back up. And we didn't exactly do that, and now the combine is on its way back down this way and probably pretty close to full. So we're gonna get in here and haul ass to the other end of the field and see if we can get caught up with the combine before it gets full again. We made it. We made it. It didn't have to stop. Awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and get this emptied out. And man, I just wish I knew exactly how much we were making per hour on that thing. Just hoping. Biogas plant income. We made $107. So we're not going to be breaking the bank there or anything. But it should hopefully start producing some digestate pretty quickly. I guess we haven't actually processed that much slurry in there, so that's not as big of a concern that we're not making a ton of money. I'm just surprised it's as slow as it is. I guess it's a somewhat realistic speed maybe, but with how fast we're producing it on the farm, that might not keep up. Or maybe if we're using it all year round, we'll be able to keep up with it. I guess the only trick is that it should process more slurry in a given day than we generate. And if it doesn't, maybe we're going to need to get one of those bigger biogas plants. We can use the pumps and hoses DLC, the modular one, and kind of place the buildings where we want them and expand it. Well, I don't know. We're going to see, though. I'm not giving up hope yet, though. It's too early to tell. We might just need to give this thing a moment to run for a little bit. I got a little bit too far away from the truck when we turned into that, so I'm going to turn around and come at it from the other side, see if we can line up just a little bit better here. There we are. Let's get this back hopper filled up. I think we should fill it up. I think the grain cart was full, so we're going to immediately just go and try and catch up with that combine again, because I don't think we fully got the combine emptied out. So I'm guessing it's going to be getting probably half full or so by the time I can catch up with it. And that is, as I always say, the most important thing. Keep the combine rolling. All right, with the combine fully emptied out, I think we're going to be back on silage duty here. Let me look at the animal pens. I'm going to be putting TMR into this one. We're waiting for this one to burn all the way down on hay, and then I'm going to start putting TMR in for all of our cows. And this guy's doing pretty good. So it's just barn B here that needs some more feed. Luckily, I can set this guy off on an automated course. And since we've got a bunch of TMR mixed up, he'll just keep going in a loop and dumping TMR into the animal pen for us over there, and we won't have to do a thing, which is awesome. That gives us the capacity to come and run this machine. We're gonna keep running into this fence though. I suppose I could open this gate down here and come out the other end, but I don't think that's really gonna help us any compared to just driving out right here by the barn. As long as we don't get stuck on any of our corners. I say we shouldn't. I was going to say we shouldn't, but then I held my tongue for a second there, because I have a tendency to get stuck on everything, I feel like. And once again, we've talked about this a number of times. I think it's time to finally do it. I've wanted to turn this part into a driveway, and now is that time. Painting. Let's see, it's not the grassy texture. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's that one. There we are. So let's just bring this right in here like so. And once again, we're going to need some assistance on these stupid bushes. But we've got a driveway going now, which is the most important part. I could probably smooth that out just a little bit more. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. Again, once I get rid of these bushes, we'll be able to figure out if there's even more I can do. And let's look at this thing and see if I can figure out what kind of capacity it's going to have. We're at 17,000 gallons, 18,000. We're starting to get closer to full. I'm guessing it's going to have maybe 30,000 gallons total capacity. It's so hard to guess, but I guess we'll find out in another load or two here. That's the best way to do this. I think all the animated cows walking around is actually contributing to our frame rate difficulties. Every time I look out here towards the pasture and see all these cows, the frame rate seems to be dropping right now. I don't know if that's something that got worse after I installed this enhanced animal system mod or not, though. I just wish I knew. Things were definitely not like this for a long time. And then in the recent, I don't know, couple, 2-3 videos, I feel like I've seen a lot of frame rate drops on my end, so I do apologize if some of that's coming through on the video. Hopefully things are getting smoothed out in processing, but we'll find out when we go to edit everything up. Well, it looks like we've got it all filled up, and it's just short of 32,000 gallons of slurry, which is awesome and unfortunate all at the same time. So I've got an auto drive course kind of sort of set up here that I was hoping to test out, and I guess we'll see if it stops here. I don't know if it's going to actually count as unloading, what's going to happen. I guess the driver's still sitting there. But we're not, we unloaded a little bit. We're at 98%. So I don't know. We're sitting here, we're waiting. We'll see what happens if that thing starts unloading anymore as time goes on. But we are now starting to get behind on everything else. Anytime I get into trying to create auto drive courses, time gets away from me. I always have a little bit of fine tuning to do and all that good stuff. So we're gonna run a load of beans up to the bin site here, and we've got the combine moving and grooving over there. Can't see him from over the hill. I suspect he's probably full though and waiting on somebody to come and unload him. Unfortunately, the story of the last couple of episodes for me, not being able to keep up with the combine. Now, we did see the feed mixer come through a couple of times now, so I have to believe that this barn B is starting to get full now, if it's not full already. We're gonna check in on that as well while we're unloading the beans. And I guess I need to check in and just see where our manure situation ended up in general. We look here at the animal menu, not full yet, getting there. And the slurry situation, not much improved. We're down by 50,000 there. We're down by 70,000, 50,000. We're just barely ahead of the slurry situation. So I'm not so sure that the BGA that we've got in place here is going to cut it for us. We might have to upgrade that still. I've got to really remember to keep my eye on this set of heifers, though. I don't want them completely running out of food. It looks like we've got less than a day of food left for them. And so that covers checking in on both the cows and the slurry percentage. Let's go ahead and jump out here to the grain cart and get this combine moving again. If I'd been paying attention, we could have unloaded him before he tried to do that path. We wouldn't have the ugly cut-ins where we're leaving lots of straw in the middle of the field like that. But it is what it is. We can't be in all the places at once. And quite honestly, I haven't had any luck getting Courseplay grain cart driver to work with this particular pairing of tractor and grain cart. I know different tractors and different grain carts seem to cause problems for that. And so one of the two, if not both of these pieces of equipment, is not too happy about trying to automatically run the grain cart for us. So our mixer is just going to town here, a little over 100 cubic yards at a shot. I don't think this one's gonna fill it up. Oh, this load might fill it up. We're getting pretty close here now. And if I just take a look at our silos here, I guess I can deactivate this one because it is costing me some money every tick. And take a look, our silage is full up again. Our TMR is come down quite a bit. We were maxed out before I started filling up the barns here. So you can see that 1,000,000 liters of TMR doesn't get us that far. But we'll be able to make some more of that now. We've got hay capacity here to mix with that silage. We'll be able to keep burning through some of that, get some more TMR mixed up. And I'm not too worried about getting through the winter at this point. We've got quite a bit of feed all lined up. And if I just check here, it looks like we're not quite automatically unloading here. I'm going to turn off the auto drive worker here. I'm wondering if I need to be, oops, just a little bit further forward here to dump. It does look like that's the case. So what we're going to do is get rid of this point. If I edit selected target, nope. And how do I get rid of this point? This point here, if I do this, Can I delete the name? I can. And then we'll go one further forward and add a point here. I think that'll work out a little bit better. But we still don't have enough room to actually do anything with it. So I'm gonna stop here. What is that point? Biogas plant 150 kW. That point probably needs to go away. And we'll just go ahead and exit out of edit mode here because we're causing all kinds of problems. Why is it trying to go to a point that I got rid of? Something is a little bit fishy here. Farm BGA. Drive. Alright, well, I'll have to figure out how to get rid of that again at some point. But for now, we're just going to send this guy on his way. He'll do the loop and work his way back over there. It's always something lately. In the meantime, we were on a mission to keep the combine moving. Let's get this grain trailer back out there. I'm sure the grain cart's going to be full sooner than later. And you know what? If I had to guess, the grain cart's probably in the way and the combine's trying to run into it right now to get back into its lane. That's what usually happens when I unload it when it's on a stop like that. It's unfortunate that I know course play and auto drive all too well, and where their failings are, I know when we're going to be stuck without even having to see it. See, what did I tell you? Let's see if I can get backed up and out of the way here. There we go. Combine can go do its thing, hopefully. And I'm just going to recenter this on the line so that my auger isn't sticking out into where the combine's going to need to drive by in a little bit here. Should work out pretty good there. And this barn is finally full. Let me have it go dump into this other little barn. I actually don't have a auto drive point for that, which is probably okay. For now, at least, we're going to go manually dump the remainder of this into that side barn over by the harvest store. And this is one of those situations where we're dumping on the right side for a change. All right. Well, let me pull this thing up into position and we'll start actually making TMR again. I want to use up the rest of the hay in the harvest store just out of purely interest to see how far it gets me. Looks like I've got 2 to 3 more loads of TMR I can make out of this hay. I think we use about 25, 26 yards, almost 27, so not quite 2 more in here. And then the rest of this ends up being silage, and we'll be able to send this guy right back into this barn over here and work on topping that off. We're doing pretty good. I like seeing a full capacity there on that one. This stresses me out, just waiting for that food to burn down though. So yeah, we've got another 200,000 that we can put into this barn. So let's toss this in there and we'll see roughly how much is in here. So we got an idea of how we can compare our feed mechanics. Bouncing off the door frame there just a little bit. And we're up to 879 now. Not too bad. So that's almost 80,000 liters. That's pretty good. So we only need 2 more to fill this up. However, I think that's going to be a job for a next episode. We're going to wind things up right here. We've gotten everything kind of moving. We're going to see how well our new biogas plant can keep up once we're able to move the time forward a little bit here. But I'm not going to do that until we get all these other jobs kind of cleaned up and caught up. But I'm pretty happy with this. It's going to work out pretty well. We'll see how good this thing does with producing digestate for us, burning through that slurry, and hopefully making some money. I've not been overly impressed with the money-making side of it just yet. If we look in here one more time, we've made a whole $200 right now, but I'm thinking that that's just because of how slowly we're burning through it, because we've only moved a couple of hours in the grand scheme of things. As we're able to start sleeping overnight and doing things like that, I think it's going to go a lot faster. Stupid grass. I need to figure out how to get rid of this again. I'm going to go back and rewatch that episode that I fix the grass in last time. Either way, though, thanks for watching. That's all for today. Kedrick out.